Hello guys, welcome back with me movie film recap, watch out spoiler ahead. Today we are gonna review a movie named Fighter's Life. So, without any further ado, let's jump into the story. In the beginning of the movie, we were shown a fight scene between two women. I suggest they were on a competition. There was a tense fight especially for women. After the tense match, one of the women collapsed and passed out. Scene moved to another woman called Ruo Xuan, seemed to be having a sort of boxing practice. There was also a man there giving her some advice on every step she moved. On the other side, at office background someone promoting MFC sport or what we know as a martial art and boxing championship to the investor. Their intent are to promote this sport around China to become more popular. They set to be dealed. After that, the man asked the Ruo Xuan to have dinner. First, she denied it for get another practice, but after getting persuaded, she took considered on it. The night arrived, we were showed a club with a boxing ring in the room. Showing a match there with the same woman on the first scene named Xiaoyun. She seemed to be lost again after getting knocked down by her rival. Ruo Xuan agreed to have a dinner with Li Fei. That night, they went to a fancy restaurant with a formal suit. They were a couple that tend to be married soon, but the thing is Oppo really a workaholic person. Their conflict began because of it. During dinner, Oppo kept receiving work call from his boss and it pissed Ningning off, so she left him alone at the restaurant. In the meantime, Xiaoyun got home and she received a magazine she was ordered. Her neighbor informed her that her father needed her attention more especially with his shop. She then immediately went upstairs to help his father. His shop was so messed up because of some jerk. She then gave her father their landlord money, but his father refused it, saying that he had money too. Xiaoyun got mad because his father were too kind and honest, that's why he was always getting bullied. Xiaoyun seemed to be from a poor family. The next day, Xiaoyun come to a training center where Ruo Xuan practice. She then met Liang coach and resumed herself to join the competition. Liang coach refused her because they were not accepting the outsider and not the member of the center, but Xiaoyun offered a chance to prove her skill. She then fight with one of his student and she showed him that she had a potential skill. But again, Liang coach refused her just because he thought that she was too wild and cannot be managed and asked her immediately to leave. Not long after Xiaoyun finally left, Ningning approached Liang coach and said that this girl was good enough, what does it take too hard to admit someone's strength? Later, Xiaoyun got home. Her father saw her bending face, he then gave her a bowl of food through his assistant. Xiaoyun looked sad in her room. Lao Zhu, his father assistant came into her room and gave her the food and saying to her do not mad at her father again and asked her to eat the food. Lao Zhu kept saying that to her make her got pissed, so Lao Zhu run away, but making funny face through the window, she smiled and I bet Lao Zhu were trying to make her amused and happy again. As she returned her glance to a memorial portrait of her and her father, suddenly the memories show off again. Evidently, it turned out that her father was an MMA athlete and had been a winner got the medal. Little Xiaoyun back then was so proud to her father, then her father gave the medal to her. She then ate his father food. The next day, she came back to the training center with spirit. Liang coach still refused her, but after got an advice from Ruo Xuan, finally Liang coach allowed her to join, but with terms she had to learn from the basic first. Xiaoyun was so excited and looking forward for the next practice. Day by day she did any stuff she ordered to do including the cleaning things. But she also learned from far the techniques from Ruo Xuan and practice it every time whether at home, at work or at the training center. At the night comes, Ruo Xuan asked her to turn off the lamp after getting done and told her not to practice too late. As she walked over, her fiancé came to her and tried to fix things between them. Ruo Xuan still mad at him and she went off leaving him. On the other time, Xia Xinglin, Xiaoyun's father met his ex-wife. His ex-wife begged him that she wanted to meet Xiaoyun, but the next day, when Xia Xinglin told that to Xiaoyun, she said that she had never have a mother like her. Day by day, Xiaoyun worked at the club and was busy preparing for the competition, although the main athlete was Ruo Xuan. She was unbeatable and talented athlete. Finally, the day of the competition arrived, Ruo Xuan played with an athlete from Thailand. Zhang Ruo Xuan was the winner from the last competition, but unfortunately she lost the game on the first round. She then has got to hospitalized and got a bitter fact that she had to leave her career at MMA competition because of the wound of her old injury. The next day, Xiaoyun met her mother but she ran away. She then helped his father on his shop with sad face, and his father gave her a lunch box for Ruo Xuan. At the hospital, Ruo Xuan's fiancé visited her and saying that what he'd done was the best for them, but Ruo Xuan got mad and they were begin fighting. He then came out from the room, there was Xiaoyun there, she then told him she was not to intend to get involved, but she wanted to share, that she was also a woman athlete, what they scared the most was losing someone who really close with. He then remained quiet. At her neighborhood, his father get drunk with her neighbor, and sharing the old time then Xiaoyun came home, and took his drunk father to go to their home lifted up his father on her back. The next day, at the training club Liang coach became skeptical due to Ruo Xuan absence, Xiaoyun asked him to give her a chance. Liang coach gave her time to match, and she did really proving her skill made Liang coach finally believe at her, but the thing is there should be an opponent to balance her skill, and to get Xiaoyun more experience before the competition. Apparently, Ruo Xuan came in and available to do mentoring her. Day by day, she trained hard and really working hard on it for the upcoming competition. One day after get practice, she went home and she shocked that her mother was there, she mad at her, and she immediately went to her room remembering how cruel her mother was leaving her and her father behind in the past. Her father was fired from his label due to his several fouls and had to live suffered like this way. The next day, she fought with Samantha, the one who defeated Ruo Xuan, she won the game perfectly. Later when she got home, her father asked her why she didn't tell him about it. She answered if she told him, he would forbid her the reason why she do that, because she liked those things and she didn't want to live like him. On the other hand, Ruo Xuan's fiancé got offered a deal to make Xiaoyun lose, and the pay was no penalty for him after the lose of Ruo Xuan. The next day, he met Ruo Xuan to ask her about it. But she refused him immediately and slapped him right away. Match after match Xiaoyun played, and she won the game that make her made to semi-final. It meant that Ruo Xuan's fiancé couldn't make the deal, so he gave back the money to her boss and promising that he would pay the penalty. The next day, Xiaoyun was practicing in the club and Ruo Xuan become her coach. She warned Xiaoyun about her future rival and make strategies to win the game. Finally, the match began. But there was a cheating political game back there. Xiaoyun rival got a doping which is forbidden for every athlete and every sport games. It was intended to make Xiaoyun lose. The match began, and Xiaoyun were losing her energy and she passed out. She later got to hospitalized with several injuries, especially her jaws. Her mother came to visit her at the hospital, but left her an explanation letter that in the past, she had left them because she had a cancer and need a high cost to cure it. She didn't want to make her family struggled, so she left them. Xiaoyun cried and went out from the hospital looking out her mother. The next day, Xia Xianling reported the doping incident to the committee of arbiters and made the news spread out with the evidence of a video that Yihao recorded. Xiaoyun got her chance again to reach the final and came to her mother bringing the invitation. But at the night, her father, Yihao and his father were attacked by Ruo Xuan's boss and destroying everything there, but then Xiaoyun came, they were running away. Finally the match day arrived and her rival was full of experience came from her country, US. Xiaoyun fought with full of spirit and full of support from her closest support. The match was so tense. The first round was over, both of them were so strong. Round after round Xiaoyun were intimidated by her rival. At the same time, her mother was kidnapped by Ruo Xuan's boss, though she was the biggest support for Xiaoyun, but she was saved by his father. At the last round, Xiaoyun was really close to lose, but she remembered the day she got her closest people's support and the day she really went hard, then she stepped back her rival and she finally won the game. She hugged her parents and Ruo Xuan got really emotional with her result. On her speech, she said that she was not only the winner, but whole of the team and the people she was close with were the winner. On the last scene, Ruo Xuan and his fiancé finally made it to continue plan their wedding. Meanwhile, Yihao, the neighbor of Xiaoyun, succeed with his own career, and the last was, Xiaoyun was having a family picture again with her parents as a winner. That's pretty much for today's video. I hope you like it. And we will see you next time.